Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees. Well, the 2018 season is over for the Yankees. They were eliminated by the Boston Red Sox, the hated rivals, the team that you really don't want to lose to, in the Divisional Series. The Yankees took it to a Game 4, gave us a very dramatic ninth inning, which would probably be one of the greatest comebacks in playoff history, but again, the rally falls short. And now this Yankee team, which won 100 games and overall is successful, is left with a lot of questions. So the series started in Boston. Game 1, Chris Sale, their ace, versus J. Happ. And the reason they got J. Happ was specifically for this reason, to face Boston in Boston, and he came up short. Had a terrible first inning, gave a 3-run bomb, and all the Yankees fell behind 5-0. But then the Boston weakness was their bullpen, and the Yankees came back and back and back, closed it within 5-4, but then this came up short in the ninth inning. And it was really specifically bad because, Judge hits a home run, great, you bring it within one, and then Giancarlo Stanton just looks horrible and strikes out. And the frustrating thing about that game is that the Yankees left a ton of people on base. I mean, they had bases loaded, nobody out, and maybe got no one in. And the next inning, bases loaded, no one out, and scored one run. So they squandered an opportunity. They could have taken Game 1. Fine, now we shift to Game 2, much better. Masahiro Tanaka gives the Yankees a good start. Gary Sanchez, just like reasons you got to put him in the lineup, hits 2 massive home runs, especially the second one, a 3-run home run, put the game out of reach, and the Yankees tied up 1-1. Coming back to the stadium, optimism was high. It just seemed like the momentum was all on the Yankees' shoulder, and it was like theirs for the taking. And you have your ace, Luis Severino, on the mound for Game 3, except I don't know if it was the rain, I don't know if it was the situation, but he falls short. He wasn't sharp at all. It wasn't terrible. He just wasn't sharp, and he was just getting a lot of giving up walks, and the Red Sox weren't crushing the ball, just single here, single there, single there. Next thing you know, the Yankees were down 3-0, and then after that, all hell broke loose. Boone brings out Lance Lynn. He walks bases loaded, then he gives up like a big triple, and the Red Sox go on to crush the Yankees 16-1, like one of the most lopsided playoff losses in history. And then fine, you go to Game 4, the Yankees are like, all right, we got our guy CC on the mound, and he's not really sharp either. He gives up 3 runs. The Yankees fall behind 3-0, ultimately fall behind 4-0 until the ninth inning when the Yankees surmount one of the most improbable comebacks. They're right there, bring it to 4-3, and just can't get that one big hit to get the run, and then you got to see the Red Sox celebrate at Yankee Stadium again. So let's go to that ninth inning of Game 4, one of the most roller coaster, heart-wrenching, up-and-down innings I can remember watching. And again, it would have been an instant Yankee classic. Even if they would have went on to lose the series in Game 5, that inning was just amazing. So I'll break it down to you. You have Greg Kimbrel on the mound, one of the best closers in baseball, high-octane fastball with a wicked slider, and he has that, the long beard, which I can't stand, but whatever. They shouldn't allow any players to have beards like that. So Judge, who had an excellent series, hits a home run against Kimbrel in Game 1. He starts off with a walk. Great. So maybe this guy's control's not good. Didi falls behind 1 and 2 and just gets a seeing eye single past the second baseman. So now you have first and second, nobody out, and now, okay, Yankees are down behind 4-0, but at least you're primed to do something here. And then all of a sudden, you get your friend Giancarlo Stanton. He whiffs terribly on 3 pitches, and it's just like he's getting booed. He could have done, even if he had a bunt or anything, would have been a plus for him. But he does nothing. So all right, so he's gone there. Forget it. So now our good friend Luke Voigt, the blue collar hero, who's been coming along and has been torching baseballs ever since he joined the Yankees. He works the walk. So now you got bases loaded, and clearly Kimbrel has now walked his second person in the inning. Maybe he doesn't have good control. Just letting you know. Now Neil Walker comes up as a left-handed at bat. First pitch, boom, Kimbrel hits him on the leg. So now through the hit Batman, another run comes in. It's now 4-2, and again, you have 2 walks and a hits Batman. Again, maybe Kimbrel's control is just not that good. So if you're Gary Sanchez, who's up next, maybe don't swing. Maybe this guy can't find the strike zone. Instead, Sanchez swings for 2 high fastball pitches, which clearly would have been balls. And now Kimbrel has him right where he wants to, 0-2. Now, to Sanchez's credit, he worked the count back to 3-2. That's good. I mean, against a tough pitcher like that. But this guy was walking everyone in. The game was there for the taking. So Sanchez does get a swing on a hit on a 3-2 pitch. Takes the ball. It's a high pop out to left field. For a second, you thought it might have been out. Would have been a game-winning grand slam. Instead, it's just ultimately a sacrifice fly. Didi comes in, makes it 4-3, and then next up is Gleyber Torres, who at least he made contact, unlike Stanton, but it's this little ground out to Nunez, who of all the people, Nunez, the reason the Yankees got rid of him is that he was a horrible fielder, but he makes an incredible throw. They get Torres at first base by a nose, and the Yankees fall short 4-3. But you got to blame Gary Sanchez for that at bat. And then you have 2 walks, and the guy just before you got hit by a pitch. Kimbrel cannot find the zone. Why are you swinging at anything? Even at least let him throw you a strike to prove, hey, I can throw a strike. But no, Sanchez swings at 2 high fastballs near his hands, and to me, Sanchez, you got to, as bad as Stanton was the whole series and his at-bat at ninth, you got to blame Sanchez because Kimbrel was literally going to hand the game to the Yankees right there, and Sanchez, too eager, swung through it, and boom, season's gone. Now, a lot of people are going to come down and stand for this one and blame for the loss, but the fact of the matter is none of the Yankee at-bats really showed up, except for Judge consistently, and then Gary Sanchez having that 2 home run performance in Game 2. I mean, where was Andujar in this series? He gave you nothing. In fact, it got to the point with Game 4, Boone benched him. Now, mainly because it had to do with CC starting and figure a lot of ground balls at third, so you want to put the better defense at Walker at third base. But if Andujar was hitting well, Andujar would have started Game 4. And Boone didn't even consider bringing Andujar off the bench for Game 4. It was just a non-factor with his bat. You got nothing from Gleyber Torres. In fact, in a big moment in Game 1, bases loaded, he could either help tie the game or put the Yankees ahead. Instead, he strikes out at ball 4, ball in the dirt. So you get enough from him. So Didi as well. I mean, he had a great season, but in postseason, where was his bat? So a lot of guys did not show up for this series. Only guy can hang his head high is maybe Judge. All the bats that failed, Stanton included. So yeah, you're gonna blame Stanton because the big contract, and he's a big guy. He's like 6'6", 6'7". But they're gonna put all the blame on him with the money he makes and all that stuff. But frankly, none of the Yankee at bats showed up. Now people are gonna be lobbying to get rid of Stanton. Oh, you gotta trade him away. He's a bust. This is what we bought him in for, and he failed. Well, that doesn't make any sense. You can't bring someone in and expect them to be great for 1 game, or 5 games, or 7 games, or the whole month of October. Baseball is a marathon. It's a long season. And if that's the case, Stanton did his job. 38 home runs, 100 RBIs. All right, you'd like to see a little more with the home runs, but that's basically what you were expecting when he came in, and that's what he delivered. So you really can't blame him or call him a bust. Now, yes, he did look horrible. Game 1 and 4 against Kimbrel, just whiffing terribly. I meant I could have done a better job of that. And overall, in Game 1, he's leaving a lot of guys on base. Yes, it was a failure. It wasn't good. But it's not like the Yankees, gave up the farm to get him or really broke the bank in a big way. I mean, they traded Starlin Castro for him, who was a nice player, but he's Starlin Castro. It's not like the Yankees gave up Frazier and Severino and Sanchez and all these chips to get him. They gave up Starlin Castro. In fact, they even got the Marlins to eat $30 million of his contract. So they're paying him a lot of money. I understand, and that might affect what they do in the offseason. But he's a great player. He's a very good player. He's an all-star. He'll probably make the all-star team a few times in Yankee pinstripes. And he's going to put up a lot of big stats. And you're probably almost looking at possibly even being a Hall of Fame or hitting his 500 home run as a Yankee. So a lot of good things to look forward to. It doesn't make sense to just shower and booze in April. Now, not only did Boston hit better than the Yankees, but they got better starting rotations. Now, I know we're living in the age of the specialty bullpens and you have your bullpen day and all that stuff, but baseball is baseball. You need good starting pitching. Boston had it, Yankees didn't. And let's just look at the quality starts of each game. Game 1, Chris Sale pitched a good game. J. Happ didn't. Shockingly, Boston won. Game 2, you have Tanaka versus David Price, who the Yankees is wreck. Tanaka has a good start, good quality start. Yankees win, what a shocker. Now you go to Game 3, you have the Yankee ace versus Nathan Eovaldi. We actually had Eovaldi, and they gave him away, but I don't get upset about that. But Eovaldi has a good start, Severino doesn't. Boston wins, what a shocker. And then you go to Game 4, Rick Porcello versus CC Sabathia. Porcello has a good start, CC doesn't. What a shocker, Boston wins. So Boston, again, their starting pitching didn't go 8-9 innings and shut the Yankees completely down, but they had good quality starts, at least given 5-6 quality innings to keep the Yankees down. And the weakness of Boston was their bullpen. They almost came back to bite them in Game 1, but they pitched just enough to keep the Yankees down. And Kimbrel, again, he almost let it go, but just to keep the Yankees down. But it came really down to their starting pitching. The Yankees just couldn't get enough good starting pitching. Boston just had just enough to just get by. So for next year, the Yankees got to look into it. I know you want to have this great bullpen, which the Yankee had, but it really didn't serve the purpose. They needed better starting pitching, and they just didn't have it. Now, people are jumping on Stanton, but people are also jumping on Luis Severino, mainly for Game 3. Now, supposedly, he didn't come out to warm up in time because he didn't know it was supposed to be a 7:40 start, past for 8 o'clock. And to his defense, well, I can't really defend that. Coach, you should be on top of him, but each of these games, maybe the TV deal, they always start at different times, and it usually, you're a pitcher and you're at home, you always assume, a sort of consistent basis. It was all choppy. That's not an excuse. Whether he had enough time to warm up or not, Severino's 24 years old. I mean, He pitched great for the Yankees overall this season. I know the second half wasn't there. Maybe he had a little arm fatigue, but he did find himself. He gave the Yankees just enough in that wild card game against the Oakland A's. A little disappointed. You needed him to step up, but let's not kill the guy. He's a great pitcher, and he's only 24 years old. You can't expect him to, be like a 33-year-old veteran like David Cohn in '96 or something like that. So he took a little flat for that. We'll probably never find out the truth whether he had enough time to warm up. I don't think it had a difference. It was kind of a rainy day. The ball might have slipped a little bit. In fact, early on in the game, there was a comeback to him, and he bobbled the ball, probably getting due to the misty rain. I know Boston had the same conditions, but Nathan Eovaldi just outpitched him. He wasn't terrible, and he'll be a great pitcher. I think he'll be he'll be with the Yankees for quite a while. Now, this was Boone's first go-around as a manager in the playoffs. Everyone was like, oh, he got outmanaged by Alex Cora. And Cora pressed a lot of right buttons. You can't argue with that. And Boone, the only criticism with him was how long he stayed with the starters of both Severino in Game 3 and CC in Game 4. Now, with Severino, maybe could have took him out a batter or two later, but it wasn't like Severino was total garbage. He just wasn't, sharp. He was just missing by a little bit. Boston was taking their walks like they normally do. They're getting a lot of these singles and bloopers going through. So perhaps, maybe you could make the argument Boone should have someone else ready instead of Lance Lynn. But his argument was Lance Lynn's a ground ball pitcher, so with bases loaded, he was going for the double play out. So I can't argue against that. Maybe for CC in Game 4, you could say, hey, Boone, you should have yanked him earlier. In the first inning alone, CC had bases loaded. Kinsler almost hit a grand slam. It just missed it by a little bit this much on the bat. So you can criticize Boone a little bit on that. But overall, Boston just played better. I don't think they're, tremendously better than the Yankees overall. Just their bats showed up and their pitchers showed up. And when you're the manager, you look like a genius. When you lose, the manager looks like a dope. So you had a 100-win team. Fell short in the AL East because the team above them won 108 games. Can't really blame the Yankees for that. Gave us a little exciting ride. Got us into the wild card game against Oakland, passed them, and went up against Boston and just fell short. So I can call the team a failure, but of course you need to make tweaks and make updates. And the Yankees are going to have some decisions. You have some free agents to be, such as CC Sabathia, been around for almost 10 years. You go another year with him, even though he really kind of looked clunky. He did not look good at all in that playoff start. Can't judge him on that one game. It's silly. He's going to be 40 years old. Do you spin the roulette wheel with him one more time? What about Brett Gardner? Been a great hard-nosed Yankee for a long time. Losing a little bit with the bat, but still a great defender and still a grinder type guy you want on your roster and a veteran. Do you let him walk out the door, or you kind of go with the new blood into Clint Frazier? And then some of the rentals the Yankees bought over, such as Jay Happ, very good lefty. He's probably going to be highly demanded on the market. Do you pony up the money for him? McCutchen, who he came over to the Yankees, and he was all right, nothing great, nothing special, and he didn't do much in the playoffs at all. If you want to start blaming people, so the Yankees have some decisions to make. But then there's some two big free agent names. One of them is going to be Bryce Harper and Machado. Do you throw money at one of these guys? You're going to have to pay anywhere from $300 to $400 million. Are they worth it? So the Yankees have a lot of decisions coming up in this offseason. So the two big names in the offseason, the big ticket guys, are going to be Bryce Harper and Manny Machado. Now the Yankees might look at one or possibly both. I don't think they would do both, and I don't even think they would do either. But of the two of them, I would rather take Machado over Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper, this is something about his personality I don't like. I know he has maybe some better stats, but the game he played here at Yankee Stadium told me everything you need to know about him. He took a foul ball off his foot from Betances, and before even a trainer looked at him or anything, he just walked off. He just walked off and just left his team flat. It's like, you really want a guy like that in pinstripes, and he's been a little chippy in the clubhouse. And I get to see him blown up at a reporter here. I mean, there's 2 reporters in D.C. There's 5 million reporters here. I don't think he'll be able to handle it. I know you look at his left-handed at bat, say, oh, it'd be perfect for Yankee Stadium. The guy here would be miserable. Machado, at least he's a cooler guy. He's a couple, he fits in better. He's more descript. He would get along with the guys. He would get along with Sanchez and Torres. And I think he really wants to be the Yankees, and he kind of made some hints like that early in the year before he did get traded to the Dodgers. So if they're going to go after one of them, maybe go after Machado. But overall, especially with the money that they're paying with Stanton, I don't think they're going to target him. And the only reason I say they might go after Machado is that the news we got about Didi Gregorius will undergo Tommy John surgery for something he tore in his shoulder. And we didn't even know about this. And it kind of makes sense because in the Boston series, first of all, he gave you nothing with the bat, as I mentioned. And fielding-wise, he was bouncing a lot of balls to first base. They figured he might have torn something in Boston. So he was dealing with that as well as the torn cartilage in his wrist or hand. So I can't come down hard on the guy, but the bad part is that you have a great all-star caliber player who the Yankees may not get back till next season. They're projecting July to August. But basically, you got to make some decisions. Now, do you get a Machado and insert them there at shortstop? And he said he wanted to be a shortstop. That would be perfect. Then what happens when Didi comes back? Or do you kind of trade Andujar in this offseason for a starting pitcher and make Machado, your third baseman and just wait for Didi to come back? So you got some choices to make. I still overall feel that they're probably not going to get Machado. Those probably take Gleyber Torres, who, right now he's playing second baseman for the Yankees, but he came up through the system. He's a natural shortstop. You could put him there, and then perhaps you re-sign Neil Walker and just have him as a stopgap at second base and let them hold down the fort until Didi comes back. On top of the Didi news, we also found out that Brian Cashman is looking to really desperately get rid of Sonny Gray, which is kind of surprising because usually the GM, you won't reveal that. I mean, you kind of keep it in your back pocket, and then out of nowhere you make the trade. It's like, oh, wow, I didn't look he was getting rid of him. So he basically gave up all his negotiating power just to get rid of this guy. So again, they'll probably just get rid of him for like a 15th round single-A pick of who knows. And with Gray, I don't know, it just wasn't working out here, and they probably just didn't want to go into next season with the same questions. Oh, is he going to be able to turn it around this season? So he just flat out got rid of the guy, and I don't know where he's going to end up. Won't be shocked if he ends up in the Boston Red Sox and all of a sudden becomes a great pitcher, but what are you going to do? So for now, Gray exits this way. Another big decision is first base. You have Luke Voigt, who you brought in here and just took the world by fire. Blue-collar guy, undiscreet, but he's hitting home runs left to right. And your Greg Bird, who was going to be your guy this year, but he got injured and just never really got on track, and the Yankees didn't bother putting him on the postseason roster. So how do you work it out? Do you make it a competition? Do you maybe trade Bird, or do you trade Voigt? And you have Neil Walker as well, utility player for the Yankees. Now, he got off to a bad start, but the Yankees stuck with him. I thought they got rid of him. They stuck with him, and he paid off for the Yankees. Switch hitter with some power. Could play first base, could play second base, play a little right field. Is that a guy maybe the Yankees bring back? And in the bullpen, which was a strength for the Yankees, and they had an abundance of riches, you can have Robertson as well as Britton up for free agency. Now, both of them can actually be closers for other teams, so you might have a lot of teams throwing money at them for long-term deals and 3 or 4 years deals. And Cashman has a strict policy on bullpen guys. Well, he made exception for Chapman, but he throws like 102 miles per hour, so you make an exception for that guy. But I don't think Cashman will go more than a year or two on those guys, so you might see the end of Robinson, or you might see the end of Britton. Of the two of them, I'd rather have Robinson back. I just, he knows the deal here. He's been here before. He's been successful here. He could pitch multiple innings. Britton, coming back from injury, still cool with questionable. He was okay for the Yankees, but if they're going to spend money in the area, I'd rather go with a sure hand, and I'd rather go with Robinson. Now, I hope the Yankees scrap the idea of doing these bullpen days. Now, Kevin Cash down in Tampa, because Tampa has no starters, basically, instead of a fifth starter, they figure, hey, a fifth starter is probably going to get trashed anyway, so let's just have a bullpen game where you have one bullpen guy come out, then some sort of starter does 3 innings, and he's bringing all these different bullpen guys. It looks like that's going to be the future of baseball. You're not going to have the starting pitcher go 7 to 8 innings, but going to next year, I understand the Yankees did it for the wild card game, more or less, just because it's all hands on deck. But it's baseball. It ruins the fabric of the game. Part of it is having a starter pitcher go out there for 6 or 7 innings. I mean, it just kills it. You look forward to seeing Severino. You used to look forward to, Andy Pettit's going to start tonight. El Duque is going to start tonight. You don't look forward to, hey, Chad Green got the first inning. And this isn't the old Yankees. Cashman's very crafty. It's not the old Yankees where they just throw boatloads up.
Umbrella, what are you trying to do? Taste the rainbow?
Hey, it's that guy. So one of the Yankee free agents to come up, it will be CC Sabathia. Now, he's been here for 10 years. Great clubhouse guy. Everyone likes him. But he's like 39, 40 years old, and he's getting a little creaky. And, do you roll the dice with him for one more year? Do you think they should bring him back?
Hey, bring him back on at a cheaper scale, because, you always need that one veteran in the locker room.
I think in terms of physicality, they might want Jay Happ to be like the new lefty veteran type of guy. But
sure.
The thing with Happ, though, I think he's going to want a longer-term deal. I mean, 35, 36 years. This is his last shot to cash in.
No.
I don't think he'll take a one-year deal. The only advantage with CC is that he goes 1 year at a time.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel that, they'll feel it around. If Happ wants multiple years, they're going to say, sorry, goodbye. And they'll probably just go to CC, hey, look, you know what? Happ said no to us. Do you want to come back for one more year? Be like the 5th starter. And CC be like, yeah, what the hell?
Nobody's dependable. We're getting rid of a lot. We're probably going to get rid of a lot of pitchers this year. and we're going to have to bring in a new one. We have Houston Sheffield. He's probably just brewing in the works. But we need to go out, start scouting for young pitchers. You have Scherzer, you have Verlander. Those are two constant pitchers who you can see just goes in there, pitches, strikes out an entire 9 innings, and then that's it.
Well, it's kind of what we had with Severino, at least for the first half. We thought we had that guy. It's just the second half, he kind of fizzled out. And
he had some yips.
Yeah, well, the yips. I think his arm maybe got tied out. Again, he's only 24 years old, and I think maybe one day he could be a Verlander. But exactly, that's the Yankees' problem.
But how long do we have to wait? Because our batters are here. It's like the Mets. The Mets, they spent all these years with pitching. They didn't have any hitting, and now all the pitching staff. Look at their pitching staff this year. Everything's solid. But no hitter.
Exactly. A team like Houston, reason why they're good, they got a bunch of. They have a full staff of 3 or 4 guys that you could depend on all the time. Verlander, Charlie Morton, Garrett Cole, who the Yankees could have had, but it looks like they didn't want to part with Frazier. And it's funny part with that, they kept on to Frazier not get Cole, and Frazier didn't even play this year. He had the concussions. It's just funny how these things work out, especially with Andahar. They talk about maybe they could have put Andahar out there to maybe get a DeGrom or a big pitcher.
Yeah.
And he didn't show for Game 4. So these 2 guys who you kept didn't end up have no impact at all in the playoffs.
It's like playing poker. You just gotta say, okay, do we take the chance on that and say, okay, we can eat the money here, or it just goes back to the old days. You have Tanaka, who's good 5 starts, and then he's off like 8 starts, and then it's just like, okay, which one are we getting this?
Exactly.
You never know.
But in the playoffs, he has money. So that's where it's important. Well, the problem is there's not too many great free agent starting pitchers out there. The only big name that would be interesting to the Yankees would be Dallas Keuchel.
Yeah.
He's a left-hander. Perfect. The Yankees would like the guy in left. The only thing is that with Keuchel, I think he would refuse to shave his beard.
You know what? Going back to that, you see a lot of these guys, like, they're on their teams, they have their free spirit, they're doing everything, but they come here and they got to shave everything, and it's like, you just took half the energy out of that person just by the beard. I'm like, let him keep the beard. Just, okay, we're going to take away this rule for a year, and then let's go out, have some fun, and then see what happens.
Yeah, well, the only thing the Yankees have lightened up a little bit. They allowed the tattoos on the sleeves, so if Steinbrenner was here, he would have these guys covered up totally.
Yeah.
So the Yankees letting some tats in.
Boston changed up the entire scheme, played small ball, slap heads, getting it going far. Did nothing for the pitchers. But so we got to rethink our strategies.
It's funny you mentioned that, because that's what the Yankees used to be in the good old days, in the old Tories, the 98, 99 Yankees. They used to play the small ball. Not these guys, all they yank it home runs, especially Sanchez in that 9th inning.
Yeah.
He has bases loaded. He wails at 2 pitches high out of the zone.
Yeah.
If he just plays small contact, showing up to swing baseball, they could have won that game easily. The philosophy is all now home runs or nothing.
Yeah.
And that's why they're happy with both Judge and Giancarlo Stanton having like 4 or 5 strikeouts a year.
Do you think we should keep Stanton?
Overall, I think, well, first of all, no one's going to take him, but I think he's okay. I mean, he came vital when we lost Judge for a while, we lost Didi for a while, so it's good to have the insurance policy.
Yeah.
The reason it's kind of weird, it's almost like an embarrassment of riches, because it's not like they need him. It's just the Marlins put him in our lap. I mean, they just traded all we had to give up is Starlin Casher for him. So it's not like we gave anything up, and he's been okay. He was a good Yankee. He was solid. Didn't complain. I know fans came down on him, but overall Stanton's all right, and I don't have mind sticking with him, for the rest of his contract. So what do you think about these free agents? Bryce Harper, Machado. I mean, would you want the Yankees to spend the money, bring them in here?
Keep them away. If I was these guys, I would say, no, I don't want to go. If you go back maybe 10, 20 years where you picked up Randy Johnson, you picked up, even picking up A-Rod, do you think we got our money's worth out of A-Rod the second time around? Oh, 1 World Series, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing he brought us is that the first time when he did come here, it was the first time Yankees drew $4 million at the stadium. So I think they made the money with jersey sales and that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, he wasn't. He put up great stats, but he wasn't what we thought he would be. Just he thought like Babe Ruth and stuff, leading a bunch of champions. He wasn't that guy. I don't think they should bring, especially don't bring Harper. I don't like his attitude. He was always he's young and snippy, and he never really matured. And if you look at the Washington national team, every year they always project they're going to be great, and they always fail. They always fail in the playoffs to inferior teams. There's just something about the attitude, and since he's the leader of that clubhouse, there's just something negative about the guy. I just don't want him in here.
The guy's amazing. The guy can hit. Let's not get that wrong. You've got this guy in L.A., and then he's just like, okay, he could be a bigger star if he was somebody in New York. No, Mike Trout's like, no, this is different now. I'd rather stay out there and, play good baseball and not have to worry about being just the face of baseball, because it may hurt my stats.
And that's the amazing thing about Judge is that not only is he putting his great stats, but he's a young guy and he's handling us all.
He's homegrown.
Exactly.
We only do well with homegrown players, and that's what we need. We need to go back and find homegrown pitchers. Maybe you get a few guys here or there where you can fill in spots, but then they know that they have to come in, and it's just right to business.
So, last year they don't resign Girardi, essentially firing him.
Yeah.
So, bringing Aaron Boone. So, what do you think about his first year? Good, bad? And do you think Girardi would have handled things any differently?
First of all, I'd like to say that the entire season, Boone had his hand held. Everybody wants that realistic stuff. You go back, you listen to the radio, and they're saying, oh, Boone's this, Boone's that. But I think if Girardi was still here, I think we would have had that championship back. Gary Sanchez and all his problems, I don't think that would have happened this year. I think he would, the time he was in, missing the balls in the dirt, that wouldn't have been a problem.
Well, yeah, his head's on the game, and I think it helped that Girardi was a catcher. So it's like, who is Sanchez to say he doesn't know what he's talking about? And I think the only difference that Girardi would make, especially during this playoff run, is he had a better feel for the game if a pitcher had it or didn't have it.
Yeah.
Boone, it just seemed like he got the ultimatum from Cashman. We're going with CC for 3 innings, then we're putting in this person, then we're putting in that person. Girardi seemed like he had a better feel for the game, and I think he would have yanked Severino out a little sooner in Game 3, and he definitely would have yanked CC out probably right after that first inning and gone right to the bullpen. It just seemed Boone had the formula put in front of him, and he had to follow it to a T. Last year's team, it overachieved. This year's team, it kind of, I know they won 100 games, but they just kind of broke the plateau. Yeah. I feel bad for Girardi. He kind of got bummed out because he took this team where people say, it was a bunch of young guys improving, and he brought them, again, 1 game away from the World Series. Mm-hmm. So now you hand this, this beast to Boone, who overall did a good job. He was okay, but I just felt, Girardi deserved to have this team I felt if he did have this team, he would have gotten us to the next round.
Took 8 steps forward, and now it's like back to reality. We took 5 steps back.
Exactly.
Who knows?
And what makes it tough is now you got to fall into the football season. But the thing with that is that if you're a Yankee fan, you usually align with the Giants because the Giants, of course, used to play at Yankee Stadium. And if you're a Mets fan, well, you usually align with the Jets because the Jets used to play at Shea Stadium. So for the Met fan, well, this season was done a long time ago. Their minds are ready into the Jets, and they got Sam Darnold, young new quarterback, and there's excitement there, and good for them. If you're the Giants, well, not only did the Yankees get eliminated this season, technically the Giants got eliminated this season within the same week of losing to Boston. You lose to another main rival, the Philadelphia Eagles. So now you got no sports to look forward to. The Rangers are terrible. The Knicks are terrible. I mean, maybe you could switch around and look for local high school wrestling, but really there's nothing to look forward to except the offseason.